spiritually understand. Because it's one thing to read the word, but when you understand, when God opens it up so that you can understand God behind the word, what he's really trying to get across. And see, that's what really distinguished Jesus' teaching from the way they had already learned the law. They just followed the letter of the law. They didn't care what God meant by it. They just, this is what we're gonna do. You do something wrong, we stone you to death and pile rocks on you and set you on fire. But God didn't mean for them to go to that point. He was trying to show them, as we talked about last Sunday, we had a whole lot of not do's, but then God was saying that, from that you should have established what you should do. Because when you always continually bring up what you shouldn't do, that's what stays on your mind. And you have to go with what you should do, because if you don't know what you should do, you can never get fully creative in it. You never open up to that side. You just know what you shouldn't do. And what you shouldn't do will be paralyzing and not liberating. So he says, since you guys have this love, you've been exuding this type of love, you've been showing this type of faithfulness, we're praying that you be filled with knowledge and the will and of his will and all wisdom and spiritual understanding. And that will cause them to do what in the 10th verse?
Worthy according to all these, being fruitful in every good work and increasing in knowledge of God.
That is very...
It's just like having the whole, what you said, the whole package, everything.
Right. Complete package. Pleasing God, being fruitful in every good work, and increasing in the knowledge of God. What is better than that? Being fruitful in every good work, pleasing unto God, and increasing in knowledge. What is better than that? Does it get any better than that? Then, look at Paul. Paul in some of his letters, I know that it's because he was separated and imprisoned. But look at how his language is, how he uses very descriptive and very, what's the word? He uses very descriptive and creative language. He's not just cut and dry by saying, I hope you do okay and do good and go on. Paul gives, he just goes out and says, strengthened with all might, according to his glorious power, unto all patience and long suffering with joyfulness. And over in the other, the New International Version says, may have great endurance. Think about it. This is a letter that is trying to keep people from going down the wrong path, but he never mentions the wrong path. Y'all see that? He never talks about the lesson setting says there were false teachers. Paul never mentions false teachers in this whole letter. He ain't say nothing about it. But what does Paul do? He reinforces what they should be doing. And reinforces, not only that, he reinforces what they're already doing. And that's a good way to, what is the old saying that you sandwich something in between something? Criticism is best sandwiched in between two pieces of compliment or something. You compliment a person, then you give them the constructive criticism, then you compliment them again so that you can get the instruction across, but people are much more receptive to your instruction when they know that you are with them and that you are complimenting what they're already doing. So Paul, in this letter, I don't know, let me see the Bible here. Let's see if, because he never mentions false teachers in this. Let's see, let me look in here and see if it goes, if he mentions them later. 1 Corinthians, Colossians 1:14, Colossians, yes. Thessalonica is one of the other ones, Sister Battle. Colossians 1:1-14. Okay. He never even no. None of it. I'm looking at the rest of the chapter. And the lesson setting says that there was false teachers, but Paul does not bring it up. So it sounds like, at least for this lesson, he exercised the principle of keeping it positive and affirmative. Because a lot of times when you bring up the thing that's against you, what do? Does that strengthen or weaken? It weakens when you bring up that stuff that's against you, because now I got to split my time between thinking about what I should do and what I shouldn't do. But if I already know what I should do, what I shouldn't do is implied.